After this Adam and Eve said no more, but wept before God on account of their creation, and of their bodies that required an earthly covering. Then Adam said unto Eve, O Eve, this is the skin of beasts with which we shall be covered. But when we have put it on, behold, a token of death shall have come upon us, inasmuch as the owners of these skins have died, and have wasted away. So also shall we die, and pass away. Then Adam and Eve took the skins, and went back to the cave of treasures, and when in it, they stood and prayed as they were wont. And they thought how they could make garments of those skins, for they had no skill for it. Then God sent to them his angel to show them how to work it out. And the angel said to Adam, Go forth, and bring some palm thorns. Then Adam went out, and brought some, as the angel had commanded him. Then the angel began before them to work out the skins, after the manner of one who prepares a shirt. And he took the thorns and stuck them into the skins, before their eyes. Then the angel again stood up and prayed God that the thorns in those skins should be hidden, so as to be, as it were, sewn with one thread. And so it was, by God's order, they became garments for Adam and Eve, and he clothed them withal. From that time the nakedness of their bodies was covered from the sight of each other's eyes. And this happened at the end of the 51st day. Then when Adam's and Eve's bodies were covered, they stood and prayed, and sought mercy of the Lord, and forgiveness, and gave him thanks for that he had had mercy on them, and had covered their nakedness. And they ceased not from prayer the whole of that night. Then when the morn dawned at the rising of the sun, they said their prayers after their custom, and then went out of the cave. And Adam said unto Eve, Since we know not what there is to the westward of this cave, let us go forth and see it today. Then they came forth and went towards the western border. They were not very far from the cave, when Satan came towards them, and hid himself between them and the cave, under the form of 2 ravenous lions 3 days without food, that came towards Adam and Eve, as if to break them in pieces and devour them. Then Adam and Eve wept, and prayed God to deliver them from their paws. Then the word of God came to them, and drove away the lions from them. And God said unto Adam, O Adam, what seekest thou on the western border? And why hast thou left of thine own accord the eastern border, in which was thy dwelling place? Now, then, turn back to thy cave, and remain in it, that Satan do not deceive thee, nor work his purpose upon thee. For in this western border, O Adam, there will go from thee a seed, that shall replenish it, and that will defile themselves with their sins, and with their yielding to the behests of Satan, and by following his works. Therefore will I bring upon them the waters of a flood, and overwhelm them all. But I will deliver what is left of the righteous among them, and I will bring them to a distant land, and the land in which thou dwellest now shall remain desolate and without one inhabitant in it. After God had thus discoursed to them, they went back to the cave of treasures. But their flesh was dried up, and their strength failed from fasting and praying, and from the sorrow they felt at having trespassed against God. Then Adam and Eve stood up in the cave and prayed the whole of that night until the morning dawned. And when the sun was risen they both went out of the cave, their heads wandering from heaviness of sorrow, and they not knowing whither they went. And they walked thus unto the southern border of the garden. And they began to go up that border until they came to the eastern border beyond which there was no farther space. And the cherub who guarded the garden was standing at the western gate, and guarding it against Adam and Eve, lest they should suddenly come into the garden. And the cherub turned round, as if to put them to death, according to the commandment God had given him. When Adam and Eve came to the eastern border of the garden, thinking in their hearts that the cherub was not watching as they were standing by the gate as if wishing to go in, suddenly came the cherub with a flashing sword of fire in his hand, and when he saw them, he went forth to kill them. For he was afraid lest God should destroy him if they went into the garden without his order. And the sword of the cherub seemed to flame afar off. But when he raised it over Adam and Eve, the flame thereof did not flash forth. Therefore did the cherub think that God was favorable to them, and was bringing them back into the garden. And the cherub stood wondering. He could not go up to heaven to ascertain God's order regarding their getting into the garden, he therefore abode standing by them, unable as he was to part from them, for he was afraid lest they should enter the garden without leave from God, who then would destroy him. When Adam and Eve saw the cherub coming towards them with a flaming sword of fire in his hand, they fell on their faces from fear, and were as dead. At that time the heavens and the earth shook, and other cherubim came down from heaven to the cherub who guarded the garden, and saw him amazed and silent. Then, again, other angels came down nigh unto the place where Adam and Eve were. They were divided between joy and sorrow. They were glad, because they thought that God was favorable to Adam, and wished him to return to the garden, and wished to restore him to the gladness he once enjoyed. But they sorrowed over Adam, because he was fallen like a dead man, he and Eve, and they said in their thoughts, Adam has not died in this place, but God has put him to death, for his having come to this place, and wishing to get into the garden without his leave. Then came the word of God to Adam and Eve, and raised them from their dead state, saying unto them, Why came ye up hither? Dr. You intend to go into the garden, from which I brought you out. It cannot be today, but only when the covenant I have made with you is fulfilled. Then Adam, when he heard the word of God, and the fluttering of the angels whom he did not see, but only heard the sound of them with his ears, he and Eve wept, and said to the angels, O spirits, who wait upon God, look upon me, and upon my being unable to see you. For when I was in my former bright nature, then I could see you. I sang praises as you do, and my heart was far above you. But now, that I have transgressed, that bright nature is gone from me, and I am come to this miserable state. And now am I come to this, that I cannot see you, and you do not serve me as you were wont. For I am become animal flesh. Yet now, O angels of God, ask God with me, to restore me to that wherein I was formerly, to rescue me from this misery, and to remove from me the sentence of death he passed upon me, for having trespassed against him. Then, when the angels heard these words, they all grieved over him, and cursed Satan who had beguiled Adam, until he came from the garden to misery, from life to death, from peace to trouble, and from gladness to a strange land. Then the angels said unto Adam, Thou didst hearken to Satan, and didst forsake the word of God who created thee, and thou didst believe that Satan would fulfill all he had promised thee. But now, O Adam, we will make known to thee what came upon us through him, before his fall from heaven. He gathered together his hosts, and deceived them, promising them to give them a great kingdom, a divine nature, and other promises he made them. His hosts believed that his word was true, so they yielded to him, and renounced the glory of God. He then sent for us according to the orders in which we were to come under his command, and to hearken to his vain promise. But we would not, and we took not his advice. Then after he had fought with God, and had dealt forwardly with him, he gathered together his hosts, and made war with us. And if it had not been for God's strength that was with us, we could not have prevailed against him to hurl him from heaven. But when he fell from among us, there was great joy in heaven, because of his going down from us. For had he continued in heaven, nothing, not even one angel would have remained in it. But God in his mercy drove him from among us to this dark earth, for he had become darkness itself and a worker of unrighteousness. And he has continued, O Adam, to make war against thee, until he beguiled thee and made thee come out of the garden, to this strange land, where all these trials have come to thee. And death, which God brought upon him, he has also brought to thee, O Adam, because thou didst obey him, and didst transgress against God. Then the angels rejoiced and praised God, and asked him not to destroy Adam this time, for his having sought to enter the garden, but to bear with him until the fulfillment of the promise, and to help him in this world until he was free from Satan's hand. Then came the word of God to Adam, and said unto him, O Adam, look at that garden of joy and at this earth of toil, and behold the angels who are in the garden that is full of them, and see thyself alone on this earth, with Satan whom thou didst obey. Yet if thou hadst submitted, and been obedient to me, and hadst kept my word, thou wouldst be with my angels in my garden. But when thou didst transgress and hearken to Satan, thou didst become his guest among his angels, that are full of wickedness, and thou camest to this earth, that brings forth to thee thorns and thistles. O Adam, ask him who deceived thee, to give thee the divine nature he promised thee, or to make thee a garden as I had made for thee, or to fill thee with that same bright nature with which I had filled thee. Ask him to make thee a body like the one I made thee, or to give thee a day of rest as I gave thee, or to create within thee a reasonable soul, as I did create for thee, or to remove thee hence to some other earth than this one which I gave thee. But, O Adam, he will not fulfill even one of the things he told thee. Acknowledge, then, my favor towards thee, and my mercy on thee, my creature, that I have not requited thee for thy transgression against me, but in my pity for thee I have promised thee that at the end of the great 5 days and a half I will come and save thee. Then God said again to Adam and Eve, Arise, go down hence, lest the cherub with a sword of fire in his hand destroy you. But Adam's heart was comforted by God's words to him, and he worshipped before him. And God commanded his angels to escort Adam and Eve to the cave with joy, instead of the fear that had come upon them. Then the angels took up Adam and Eve, and brought them down from the mountain by the garden, with songs and psalms, until they brought them to the cave. There the angels began to comfort and to strengthen them, and then departed from them towards heaven, to their Creator, who had sent them. But after the angels were gone from Adam and Eve, came Satan, with shamefacedness, and stood at the entrance of the cave in which were Adam and Eve. He then called to Adam, and said, O Adam, come, let me speak to thee. Then Adam came out of the cave, thinking he was one of God's angels that was come to give him some good counsel.